Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Home Supply How-Tos. Today I'm going to show you how to change out a capacitor. So we've got our outdoor unit here. Here's the panel. We want to make sure our power is off. There's a disconnect here. Before you're servicing the system, make sure you take off the disconnect. Some of these, this one's a pull-out one, and so if you want it off, put it in the off position. If you want it on, make sure it's rotated to the on position. Power's already off. We're going to pull this panel. The top screws you just need to loosen. These two bottom screws are the ones that are going to come out. You remove this panel, make sure you pull back on it. And here you can see we got our components. Here's our contactor, here's our capacitor. We're going to take our multimeter and confirm that we don't have any high voltage coming through. Test here, and we have confirmed we don't have power, which is good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to change it to microfarad because we're going to test to see if this capacitor is what's failed. So we're going to take our needle nose, we're going to make sure we're going to de-energize it. And you just go across the pins, back and forth. Remove your 3 wires. Now these 3 wires, they are color coded. Sometimes your new capacitor is not going to be color coded. So what you do want to do is maybe label them. And so this brown one here is labeled as fan. And if you look on the top of this capacitor, they are labeled. Some of them may not be. But what you do want to do is just make sure that you do have the same wires going to the same pins on your new one. And so the yellow pin here is going to be our common. Our blue pin here is going to be our HERM, that's our compressor. And then the brown one is going to be for our fan. And so now that we know where our wires go, we're going to go ahead and test this capacitor going from our common pin over to HERM. And it is rated for a 45, and we can see here we're reading 0. On our fan side, we should be reading 5 microfarad, so we're going to go from our common pin over to the fan, and that is also reading 0. And so this capacitor is bad. We've got our new capacitor here that we're going to test before we put it on, so I can show you some readings. Now this one is labeled, it's kind of hard to tell, but we do have our common, our fan, and our HERM as well. They're just not color coded. And so if we test that here, same thing, we're going to go from common to HERM. We should be reading 45. And this one's reading 45.7, which is good. And then we're going to go from common to fan, and that's reading a 5.08. So well within our readings of where we want it to be. We're going to go ahead and remove this 1/4 inch screw that's holding this brace. Take your old one off, that's a 45.5. This one here is a 45.5. And you want to try and expose the readings so that way the next time you can easily check what it's rated for. Hook that 1/4 inch screw back on, and looking at our labeling one more time, we have our yellow wire for common. We have our brown wire for fan. And we have our blue wire for Herm, or our compressor. And that's how easy it is. Now we're going to test the unit by applying high voltage back into it. So you're going to take your disconnect. And now we test. All right guys, so now that we have tested power and we got the capacitor going, our fan is turned on, our compressor is pumping. But one quick way to check is if you do have that multimeter, you can check for amperage. Here we have a 0.5 for our fan. And we got a 7.2 for our compressor. And you can check the data plate for your specs. But the other thing too is, just as a reference or a guide, this copper line here, if you're calling for cooling, should be nice and cold. And this does feel pretty cold. It's not putting on gauges, but it gives you a good idea if it's actually cooling or not. So we're just gonna put our panel back on, and that's how easy it is to put that capacitor on. Like and subscribe for more.